This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat.
This is Nerd Hat. Nerds.
Nerds.
Baby, you light up my world like nobody else. The way that you bedroom here get me overwhelmed. Hey.
Wrong decade.
Good evening.
Need to come up with like I don't know, who was big in 1982? Phil Collins, maybe? The Carpenters? Like, I don't know. I don't even know. The music in the movie we're covering this week definitely reminded me of like 70s pop, kind of that flowing like Carpenters, feel. Yeah, it felt a lot like that.
Well, I just wanted to sing you a little tune from my childhood. I'm kidding. I am much older than that song. I am, believe it or not.
Well, nerds, this is Nerd Hat, as you heard at the beginning.
Put on your nerd hat.
Yeah, Nerd Hat. Nerdy hats of nerds. We've put on our nerd pants and shorts, assorted undergarments. And,
what?
And I'm the only one with a hat. Yeah, I'm the only one with a hat.
We're going to nerd country.
Yeah, into the
I'm
nerd
sorry.
country. Be warned.
You know how I am.
We know how you be. So, Will, this is your week, your episode. What are we covering, man? Like, what are we doing?
Well, Laura told me we were covering drugs.
That's not true. No, I just found out that was it pot, crack, and a couple other things are just the same thing.
Weed, pot, and what's the other? Weed,
cocaine,
pot. No. There's another euphemism for
Mary
marijuana,
Jane?
weed, pot. I can't think of the hash. I want to say hash is also a euphemism for marijuana.
Anyway, didn't know those things. I didn't know they were all the same thing. Just saying. Wanted to reveal how sheltered I am.
Marijuana.
Hash is what?
A strengthened marijuana. I think.
Wow. Will.
I read it in the autobiography I just finished.
Oh, okay, fancy man.
No, we were talking earlier about gummies and how some podcasts I listen to, like the Film Flamers, for instance, a horror podcast that I have binge listens to within the last few months. Really recommend it, by the way, if you like horror movies, or if you just want to listen to other people talk about them and not watch them yourself, as is the case for me sometimes. Very enjoyable. But one of the two hosts, from time to time, partakes of a edible gummy, a CBD gummy prior to watching.
Okay. So we are covering this week. What are we covering this week?
How
high can you go?
Again, what are we doing?
Yeah. So what movie?
Well, we're covering The Last Unicorn, but I'm pretty sure that butterfly was on something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a singing butterfly.
Obscene butterfly?
There's a lounge singing butterfly at one point who's talking to
might have been schizophrenic.
Wait, what's The Last Unicorn about? Tell me.
I'm sorry, Laura. I actually forgot you didn't watch this with us.
Are you serious? That's literally the point of like the last ever since I've been on this podcast. That's like the whole point, is to convince me that I should go see it.
I just assumed that
what did I change my mind? No. You just assumed what?
I just assumed that the legends preceded themselves, and you were like, yes. I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm sure
forgot.
Like you'd probably heard of it, right? I know I'd heard of it. Like I'd heard of the movie, right?
I only heard it because you guys were talking about seeing it.
Oh, you'd never heard of Last Unicorn before?
Why would I? No.
Huh, interesting.
I'd
I'd heard of it, never seen
okay.
it.
This is hold on a second. Is this movie new?
No, it's
I
1982.
literally thought it just came out.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, I was like, oh, The Last Unicorn. They're gonna go see it in the theaters. This is okay, cool. I guess we'll cover this next episode. Yeah, that's yeah.
no, yeah. The Grand sadly was not playing it for their retro. Was it oh darn it, I forget what they call it. They have a name for, they play old movies on a regular basis. This week is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Well, that's cute.
So yeah, but yeah, they were not playing the Last Unicorn, unfortunately. That would have been fun.
So my introduction to The Last Unicorn, my experience with it is that I used to rent it at Blockbuster when I was a kid.
And that's an old word.
Oh.
That's an
Oh.
old
So Will,
word.
for those youngsters who don't know what Blockbuster is, can you do a 30-second explanation?
But I think
Well,
even the youths know.
The youths.
The youths.
Well, it's like this. It was like streaming, except you had to leave your house and go into a building and then look at physical copies of the pictures of the films you wanted to watch on a shelf. And then you had to touch it with your hand and then bring it to a clerk up front.
I think it sounds like Psychos. Wow. Wow. Remember Family Video?
Yeah, they were the
first.
the last bastion of video rental around. Well, I guess technically Redbox is the last bastion.
The last family video, the last sunrise.
I think he's trying to riff on one of the Last Unicorn songs.
Okay.
There's a lot of songs. There's a lot of songs in this movie.
There is a last Blockbuster somewhere in the world.
Yeah, I think it's in Oregon, if I'm not mistaken. I started watching
Oregon.
a documentary about it. I think the last Blockbuster.
It would be in Oregon, wouldn't it?
Oddly enough, you would think Oregon would be more progressive, but they're holding on to Blockbuster for some reason. It might be Washington State. It's one of those two Pacific Northwest states. Anyway.
Yeah. What's this
Last
movie
Unicorn.
about that just came out recently?
Yeah. So,
And not in the
It's about the
1980s.
last unicorn, Laura.
So what?
There were two
What's it about? Well, since
one.
you've seen this multiple times over the years, and again recently on our rewatch. Well, for me, a first time watch, but for you, a rewatch. Do you watch this as a kid? Like, I guess what were some, aside from getting it at Blockbuster, like what were some of your memories of your early experiences with it? Like, why did you keep going back to get it? Like, what was it that drew you back, if you remember?
Well, it was definitely a good fantasy film. I liked the Red Bull. I have to admit that my childhood memories of it was basically just remembering how the unicorn gets naked in the end of the film as a woman.
Oh no, is it wearing clothes
Well,
this whole time?
It's wearing long hair.
the unicorn gets turned into a woman at one point. That's kind of in the middle of the film, and then gets turned back into a unicorn at the end.
Yeah, that's a huge spoiler, but at the same time, it was my memories of this film, for some odd reason, as a child, centered around three things: harpy boobs, free boobs, and unicorn boobs.
There's a freaky harpy.
And I'm very sorry that I just said that out loud.
It has triple boobs.
Laura's looking at me. She's
remember.
Like,
do you
concerned
remember
about my
when we
salvation
did?
now.
Do you remember when we did? Was Aquaman?
Uh-huh.
That's not sounding so bad now.
But
I was
the
like,
harpy is a mythical beast.
I was like, oh, Last
from
Unicorn.
ancient
It
mythology.
sounds, yeah, it sounds like it could be something special. Now it just sounds like something else. Sounds like something else.
I'm really sorry,
Total Recall.
I just have an irreverent sense of humor. But if you watch the film, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
I don't think I will.
That is one of the more disturbing parts of the film. I must say.
The boobs.
The
Yes,
harpy.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a harpy. It's a giant bird that for some reason has 3 breasts.
Ew. That's not
Yeah,
even
it's like
practical.
Exposed,
bird
like
human hybrid, mostly
saggy
bird.
old woman breast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not
Okay, I'm gonna ask one more time.
not attractive at all.
What was the movie about?
Yeah, what was this about? It wasn't about a harpy with
Well, as a child, that was my memory. As an adult, I
That's
can
true.
appreciate the film a lot more. Um, it is about a unicorn in a enchanted forest that discovers that it is the last unicorn alive, or at least supposedly the last unicorn. And after being tipped off by 2 hunters and a crazy schizophrenic butterfly, goes on a uh, fantastic voyage to well, not a voyage, you know what I mean. She
journey,
goes on a
adventure.
cross
You're going on
country
an
journey,
adventure.
an adventure, where she tries to find other unicorns, is eventually kidnapped by a fortune teller that what's a female wizard? A sorceress? Okay. That puts her into a carnival, a night carnival of mystical beasts, where we meet the grotesque harpy, uh, Schmendrick, the wizard, who is incompetent but truly magical, helps the unicorn escape, and the unicorn is like, "I'm going to let the harpy go because that sounds like a good idea." So the harpy kills her captors, and then Schmendrick and the unicorn flee like lightning. Well, actually, they walk away very slowly, but
Oh yeah, didn't they have to like back away from the harpy or something into the
yeah,
woods? Yeah.
they had to show the harpy they weren't afraid of it.
Yeah, in fairness,
And
the witch, the sorceress, foresaw her death by a harpy.
yeah,
Death by harpy. Anyway, you were saying, well, sorry.
well, she knew she was going to die that way as soon as she caught the harpy.
She was cheating death, or she was flirting.
The whole time. But so after that, they meet Captain Coley, which apparently is the uh inspiration for the Robin Hood legends. Uh, his maid Marian, that is Molly Grew, leaves him for Schmendrick for reasons unknown, and travels with them and the unicorn. Actually, the reason is because she wants to go with the unicorn. I'm just joking, because at the end of the film, she stays with Schmendrick. Anyway, um, they eventually find what happened to the unicorn. There's this fire elemental bull that's been driving them into the ocean. The bull is being controlled by this king who just can't stay happy. And for some reason, he gets his lolly kicks out of seeing the unicorns drowning in the surf. So,
Did you say
he's like, yes,
lolly
yes,
kicks?
Gets his jollies.
Did his jolly kicks.
his
Okay,
jolly.
continue. Sorry.
Yes,
Continue.
I misspoke.
But did you?
So, so the movie culminates with them stopping the king and freeing the unicorns. And I glossed over a spoiler alert, which we'll get to. Uh, we already spoiled it earlier with the unicorn being transformed, but we'll get back to that. But that's basically the plot of the film. It's the last unicorn finding the rest of her kind.
Yeah, that's a good
Okay.
synopsis. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the
Okay.
it's a big picture plot arc.
Wait, does she find her kind or she doesn't? I missed something.
She does.
She does.
Yes, she does find them at the end.
They get freed.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so the king that she runs into, that we'll mention, King Haggard, voiced by Christopher Lee, by the way. So we got Sauron, a red-eyed, half-crazed Sauron wearing a red cape. Sauron the Red, is but no, he he has. We don't know how his relationship with the Red Bull started. when did he start drinking it? I don't know. Just kidding. He gave an old man wings. Sure. No. No, King Haggard has more of a Christopher Lee voice. But no, they had heard rumors. I think Schmendrick that had heard the rumors about, or maybe the unicorn herself had. Actually, it might have been the butterfly that was it the butterfly that told her about the Red Bull driving off the unicorns.
Yeah.
And that's what, like you said,
Yeah,
that's
it
what
was.
sets her on the journey of looking for the Red Bull, and that leads them to King Haggard because he has a connection. I forget how they found out about that, but he has a connection to the Red Bull, and the Red Bull basically serves King Haggard.
Schmendrick knows of a few rumors concerning King Haggard and the Red Bull, so they journey to King Haggard's territory.
Schmendrick, the well-intentioned mediocre magician.
Does anyone in this movie go through any character development? I'm serious, Will.
Well, yeah.
I want to know. I want to know.
Okay. The butterfly goes through character development when he suddenly becomes less lucid and more in control of his mind. Okay, I joke. The unicorn goes through character development. Schmendrick goes through character development. The prince, who I didn't even mention earlier, goes through kind of a character development.
I want you to pause. So, could you take one of those characters and tell me how they develop and if it's a good development or bad? Dramatic.
You want to start with the last
Well,
unicorn?
the prince. Okay, sure. The last unicorn, she goes from being happy by herself in her own little forest to wondering if she really is the last unicorn to learning what it's like to be human, learning regret and love, and things that unicorns aren't supposed to feel or experience. And she takes those experiences with her when she gets transformed back into a unicorn. She goes through that somewhat of a character arc. She actually has amnesia for a while.
Well, yeah, like it's one of the side effects of her being in human form too long, and it's Schmendrick who turns her into a human, and he does so in order to disguise her from both the king, but in particular the Red Bull. And but the downside is that if she stays human too long, there's a risk that she might never be able to return to her unicorn form. But yeah, like you said, she also begins to develop. She begins to forget that she was a unicorn.
Yeah. She falls in love with the prince.
Yeah, played by Jeff Bridges, by the way, Prince Lear.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges, and
he's got a head full of hair.
Mia Farrow, by the way, does the voice of the unicorn. And I think when she was in human form, was it the name that Schmendrick gave her? Was it Almathia, Princess Almathia? I think.
I think so.
I believe that was his name that he gave her, and that's how Prince Lear gets to know her.
Almathia, yeah,
yeah, and he doesn't find out until later that she's a unicorn. He's like, "Say what?" But then,
that would be an adjustment.
No, actually, his
difficult.
His reaction is actually when he finds out. Like, I mean, he's a little surprised, but he's like, "I love who I love." He's like, "I will love her no matter what." And it's like, but when she's a unicorn, she won't be able to love you or she's like, "I won't be able to love you anymore." And it's like, "I love who I love."
Wow, this is actually kind of sad.
Yeah, it is like, I think it's fair to say, well, you can agree or disagree with here, but love kind of saves the day because it ends up being the fact that Amathia, the unicorn, experiences love as a human, and that ultimately motivates her to fight back against the Red Bull. And she's able to drive him into the sea, which then releases all the unicorns. There's like hundreds of unicorns that have been run into the sea, and they all get released once the Red Bull is vanquished. But because Prince Lear steps in and tries to help her and gets killed. Like he gets killed by the bull, and that makes her angry that she did have feelings for him, and then she attacks the Red Bull and drives him into the sea. It's like, you in the sea, bitch. Get it. So yeah, love wins the day.
All right.
Yeah, she finds she is capable of love as a unicorn. Who knew?
So it's the Red Bull. The Red Bull was just a big puppy dog. He was just a big boy, and nobody stepped up to him until one day, and he just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, honestly, the Red
We
Bull.
were just talking about that, right? I zoned out.
Yeah, the Red Bull wasn't that impressive to me, honestly. I've seen much scarier villains or villains henchmen. He's kind of like the Darth Maul for Dooku. Hey, that's kind of ironic. Darth Maul is red, and he's like the henchman. The henchman for Dooku, who is also played by Christopher Lee. So here you have another red henchman, although one that doesn't. Although Darth Maul didn't talk much either. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I just made that connection. I was like, okay. Yeah, and Darth Maul obviously ends up getting killed as well. Well, actually, no. He just gets cut in half, which would kill most people. But according to the Clone Wars, he comes back to life. His brother gives him a cyborg, the bottom half of his torso and his legs, and then he has robot babies. Sorry, I went way off.
Does he have robot babies?
No, I'm joking. But
I haven't seen all
everything below his navel. He loses because he's cut in half by Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
but then later he somehow survives, and in the Clone Wars he has cyborg legs, and I'm assuming other things.
What do you mean other things, Richard? What do you mean?
Things. The question is, yeah, he'll never be able to have Maul babies, Darth Maul babies.
Oh, that's what you
meant. Yeah. Some equipment got cut off.
You mean it's Willis and his doodleberries, right? That's what you meant.
It is Johnson and his peaches. Anyway,
where were we?
Back to the Last Unicorn.
Back to the Last Unicorn. Meanwhile, where we at? Okay, we're talking about the Red Bull.
Yeah, and I was talking about how he wasn't that particularly impressive as a villain to me. It's like they try to make him look scary. I guess it's more the effect he has on other creatures that is more intimidating. He basically just intimidates. He doesn't seem to have that much actual power other than intimidation. He's big. He's a massive spirit bull who can appear out of the ether. That's pretty creepy, I guess. But yeah, I was a little bored, I guess, by the Red Bull.
Ooh, you said the B word during a movie.
Now Haggard was a little more interesting as a villain. I don't know. What were your thoughts on Haggard? King Haggard.
I really like crazy old Haggard. I honestly thought in my adult watch of this film that, because I didn't remember everything from my childhood, I didn't remember everything in the film, but I honestly thought that the prince and he were going to get into some sort of fight or something, because he was out there on the balcony with the fake princess, aka the unicorn. I know who you are. backing her up against the balcony. I'm going to throw you into the ocean with my bare hands. And here comes the prince. And it didn't happen. He just kind of backed off and left. But yeah, I thought the voice actor did a really good job. And I thought that he was just the right amount of crazy old man.
Yeah, Christopher Lee did great. I thought, like, I
Yeah.
think his performance was my favorite of the voice actors. Yeah, he did a really good job. But yeah, like for a little bit there, I began to wonder if Haggard was the Red Bull. I was like waiting for him. I was waiting for him to like turn into the Red Bull. But then
that would have been something else.
Yeah. And it turns out I was like, oh, a plot twist, but then I was a little disappointed that they were separate entities. I was kind of waiting for him to like turn into the Red Bull. He had the red cape and everything. I was like,
yeah, that's true.
And red eyes too. So it made me wonder, but then you eventually find out that they're separate entities. But what about the animation style? Like this time around, what did you appreciate, or was there anything that you were like, oh, this wasn't as great as I remember, or like how I haven't been an artist for a number of years now, like how did you feel about it this time around, the animation?
I thought the animation was really good. In the beginning of the film, we get to see some medieval style animal paintings, and I thought that was really in line with the time period and the theme of the film. I mean, I thought it was really great, and we found out before we started recording. I was looking at the Wikipedia, and we found out that the same where is it? Trying to find it on here, but the same production company, Topcraft in Tokyo, Japan, headed by former Toei animation employee Toru Hara. Well, this studio, Topcraft, also animated The Hobbit, The Return of the King, and would later be hired by Hayao Miyazaki to work on Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which I thought was really interesting. So I don't know how the words escape me in order to praise what I think was a really good animation job on this film. But obviously, their talents were recognized as they kept getting work to bring to life other novels, fantasy novels, and was approached by Miyazaki.
Yeah, I thought it was good too. Now, obviously, I mean, Disney is like the benchmark. They're always the benchmark for animation. I feel like. I'm thinking of like another film that came out around the same time. The Black Cauldron kind of had a similar feel to it, honestly. Like, I don't know if it was just a typical like something about that like 80s fantasy animation or what, but but yeah, like they I think Cauldron came up after this, so I wonder even if maybe some of that might have been a deliberate choice by Disney to move away from their more traditional art style. Like you compare the Black Cauldron to say the Fox and the Hound, and there's some definite differences, or even a later '80s Oliver and Company, kind of what's known as Disney's dark period.
Seriously?
Well, yeah, they had about a decade where they didn't have any hits, and they were even contemplating moving away from animation for a little bit there until The Little Mermaid, blew up and was extremely successful, and that began their string of hits with like Beauty and the Beast
The
and
Fox and the
Aladdin.
Hound was during their dark period?
Yeah, it was not very successful.
No.
Yeah, Oliver and Company was decently. It wasn't a big hit. Black Cauldron was probably the one that was the biggest flop during that period, at least economically speaking, and it was darker than Disney usually went. But yeah, animation wise, like this reminded me a little bit of that. Have you seen the Black Cauldron one?
I have not that I remember.
I've only seen it once, I think.
I need to.
Yeah, I want to watch it again. Honestly, this makes me kind of want to watch it again, and maybe that's even one we could cover at some point.
I want to watch The Fox and the Hound and I want to cry. That's what I want to do.
I remember that being very sad.
Stop. Have you not seen it?
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a
Have
long.
you seen it,
It's
Will?
been a
You've
long
seen
time.
the sequel.
Oh, I've
well,
seen the sequel
Yeah,
too?
but have you seen
boo,
the
sequel,
sequel?
boo. So bad. So bad.
Did it have a lot of singing in it?
I didn't see the sequel. I just wanted to pig with her.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh, okay.
Most sequels are bad in Disney.
Yeah.
Yes, with the exception of Toy Story 2 and 3 and 4, actually. All three of those were really
That
good.
wasn't Disney. That's Pixar.
True. Yeah. Although John Lasseter runs Disney Animation now. He has for quite a while. 10, 15 years, something like that.
Well, there was this time in Disney where their sequels were to their most famous movies. Their sequels were straight to video VHS
Oh,
things, and they
Yeah.
were always great. I like Aladdin: Return of Jafar, but to be honest, most of them just weren't great. I never saw the Little Mermaid sequel. I did see one of the Lion King sequels, the Timon and Pumbaa, Lion
Simba's.
King 1.5. That was
Oh
okay.
yeah, that's great. I love that one. Yeah.
Okay.
Simba's Pride is
Well,
pretty
it
good too.
was different. It was different. But I didn't see Lion King 2. I didn't see Fox and the Hound 2. I didn't see. Well, you know what? I didn't see a lot of these, so I'm one judge, right? So, but what I'm trying to say is, what I did see, I wasn't impressed with, I guess,
nah.
and I just assumed that. Didn't they make a Bambi too as well?
I think
Yes.
so.
But you know what I did see? I saw Jungle Book 2, and I saw um I don't know. It's just, well, another thing which is just kind of a stigma is that if Disney thought they were good, why didn't they put them in theaters instead of straight to home video?
Wait, really?
It's like this isn't
Oh.
good enough to be released theatrically, but we still plan to make money off of it
Yeah.
with VHS, which they probably did.
Yeah.
I'm sure they had their B-list talent working on it. But anyway, getting back to Last Unicorn, its animation style.
Yeah, I got on a tangent.
That's okay. But yeah, I thought I liked it as well. Like it was a little choppy in places and a little sloppy. Occasionally you'll see some color slips where you could see where the artist forgot what color palette he was using and painted a few cells the wrong color. We'll just like jump back and forth. I saw a little bit of that. Occasionally like some pencil lines left in, so
I love everyone stop what you're doing.
You like that?
I missed that.
Shh, I fucking love pencil lines. Have you seen this movie called The Aristocats? It has nothing but pencil lines during the whole film. It is the most it's just so beautiful. It's like looking at the original painting, like you're up close and you can see like bristle of the brush still attached to the acrylic or oil paint. It's amazing. It's pure magic. Pencil lines are pure magic. That's beautiful. It's dated and it's beautiful. I don't want to hear anything negative about it.
No, I
It's
like it.
amazing.
I like it if it's done on purpose, but
No.
these were not done on purpose.
I know. That's what makes it so delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, it's aesthetically like weird and interesting. Yeah, it's like, oh, a human made this. AI fucking didn't. Yeah,
I hear you.
it's beautiful.
I hear that. That's true. You don't get pencil lines in CGI. That's
Pencil
for sure.
lines. Like, how fun. This is so fun. Like, and I don't think it
No,
ruins
we're talking about
the
AI.
experience.
That's different from CGI.
Let's not. Anyway, pencil lines are beautiful. That's all I wanted to say.
Nice.
Well, you should totally see this movie for those
Yeah,
pencil lines.
you might
Yeah.
you might enjoy this then.
Yeah, I think it's very visually engaging. I think.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and we saw it in HD. I don't know if I don't think it was a 4K restoration, but it was HD, an HD restoration. We watched this on Freevee actually, um, and yeah, you can see it there for free. Hence the name.
For free.
Hence the name Freevee. But yeah, it was very enjoyable. Like we watched it on Will's big 4K TV, and it looked great. I thought. Yeah, occasionally like the animation, particularly of the unicorn, like in her initial scene, it was a little choppy. So that took me out of it a little bit, like from time to time. But overall, it was good, and the human characters were reasonably fluid.
I'll take my human reasonably fluid, please.
Hey, yeah. I think there was, aside from the unicorn herself, there was only one other like anthropomorphized animal character, and that was the pirate cat. Like King Haggard
This
randomly.
Oh, I
just
forgot
gets
about
better
that.
and better.
Yeah.
I know King Haggard randomly has
This
a
random pirate
cat.
Arr, meow, matey, arr,
Yeah,
purr, purr.
he talked like that.
That's a good spot.
And he had a peg leg and a patch. He wasn't blind in one eye though. He just moved the patch.
Is just,
It's for looks
the patch is just for looks, matey.
or intimidation. And he's a cat, so he knew a unicorn when he saw one. Unlike humans, who for some reason want to be deceived, they like it, according to the cat.
It's weird.
I kind of liked it. It felt somehow it didn't feel out of place. I don't know why. It's random. It's totally random.
Well, did you notice? The humans didn't even flinch. They were like, "Oh, it's a talking cat. It's completely normal."
I guess if you can have talking unicorns, why not a talking cat?
I've seen unicorns. Why not a talking cat?
Exactly. Well, that made me think of though. It was one
I
interesting.
think when you listen to these kids, like, wait, you can talk? Oh well.
That did make me think though. Like so this movie has muggles. So there are some people who are not magic sensitive, and they can't see a unicorn. They can't recognize a unicorn. They just see a regular horse. But only people who are either remain true believers in unicorns or who are magic sensitive or wield magic powers can see, and apparently cats can see a unicorn for what she is. Otherwise, they don't see the horn; they just see a horse.
Okay, question.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I think I missed something. Does the unicorn have a name?
No, it's just called the unicorn.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I don't think she gets a name. Do you remember? I don't think she gets a name until she's turned into a human.
That's correct.
Like even in the credits here, Mia Farrow says Mia Farrow plays unicorn, and she's the last one.
All right.
Well, I guess that our character's first name is Last, and last name is Unicorn. Last Unicorn.
What's
It
up?
was funny in my head.
Would you guys see this again?
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is that it's an experience.
I enjoyed it.
Maybe all movies are, but this one sounds like hey, you're gonna get some retro vibes. You're gonna get
Yes.
some weird boob action that you weren't expecting. There's gonna be
It's
some
gonna
make you, it's
pencil.
gonna make
there's
you
gonna be-
uncomfortable.
It's gonna make you comfortable. It's gonna be some pencil scratches. The music is engaging, but it's from what, the 70s?
Yeah, there's quite a few
70
songs. They're good songs. And the 80s fantasy, 70s fantasy vibe. It didn't really take me out of it that much. Like, and some of the actors did their own singing. Like Jeff Bridges did his own singing. You could tell. I think Mia Farrow did as well. But then there's also I forget the name. I forget the name of the main artist, that they got to write some of the songs, but yeah, some about where do unicorns go? Yeah, something like that. It was nice. It had a pretty nice soundtrack.
It was nice.
I feel like this is a soundtrack that is has probably been available for borrowing in public libraries for the last 40 years. I feel like, like you see some soundtracks like, yeah, I just feel like it was the soundtrack that's probably been around. Yeah. But no, I would watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Will already has, so.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed it, and when the girls are a little older, I think
I don't know.
They could see it as well.
I don't know. I feel like
You might want to screen them harpies first.
yeah, it was it well done.
I think so. It was well written,
Yeah,
based on a book,
it was
obviously.
well
So it
done.
had source material. It was well acted. Like the voice acting is really good.
Okay.
The dialogue is good. It was pretty solid, I thought. Like, yeah. Honestly, the only thing that occasionally took me out of it just a little bit was some of the choppy, like figure animation.
Mm.
Particularly with the unicorns, occasionally was a little choppy. But overall, yeah, it was well done, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Will, has Mandy seen it?
Yeah, but we had to stop watching around the tree boobs because it was just a little too much.
They kind of they like took her out of it. It's like harpy boobs. No thanks.
I don't know.
Harpy boobs, tree boobs. It was getting to be a little too much.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Dang it, now I have to look this
there's
up.
a tree
Shoot.
there's a tree. Is it Smendrick that gets squeezed in the
Okay.
bosom of the tree?
Oh boy.
I think it's Smendrick, isn't it?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he gets randomly squeezed by a tree that, when he gets near it, like comes to life and talks like a woman and tries to squeeze him, which is it's kind of awkward. I was like, what?
Yeah,
Well,
Where
he
did
gets,
this?
he gets tied to the tree. He gets tied to the tree and by Captain Cully, and he uses his magic to turn the tree into a tree woman for some reason to try to escape.
Oh, so then his magic didn't quite work the way he wanted. She's like, I'm in love with you.
No,
Stay, Spendrick, stay. I'll smother you.
yeah. See, there like you.
So harpy
there's
boobs
just certain
and
things I'm like, this is
tree bosom.
uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. Thankfully, it was a brief.
Everyone involved.
It was a brief scene. Thankfully, I wonder if that was in the book.
Was that it? Was that it?
Yep.
That's just
I think
awkward.
It's
That's
very
so
awkward.
weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird 80s fantasy, I have to say, like Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal, Legend, like, but it's like, it definitely gives nostalgia vibes, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, one might say delightfully weird to an extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think was it the Never Ending Story?
Yeah, that's in there too. Yeah.
That's what I'm.
It's got some boobs. Never Ending Story.
What?
You don't remember that? The two giant statues that have the.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. But
it's got
the boobs were inactive though.
This is true. They were static. They were just.
I don't like how much we've talked about this part of the body. Like my land.
But yeah, I was surprised that the Never Ending Story had that. I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
crazy. Our parents let us watch that. What were they thinking?
I don't know if mine did. I'm trying to remember if I ever saw it.
So I'm getting that there's many like never ending story vibes. That's what I'm sensing about this movie. That's how it feels. Maybe
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do you think so? That's not what I'm getting.
No, it did not evoke that for me. And I'd seen the Never Ending Story not too long ago. I think would have evoked more, and in part maybe because his animation was the Black Cauldron, I think. But yeah, honestly, and the Red Bull reminded me a little bit of Tim Curry's devil character in Legend, although it's just more like.
Is that where that is? I have to see Legend now.
Yeah, make sure you see the European cut because it's like the director's
Really?
European cut, because apparently it's much better than the American theatrical version. Yeah, they kind of ruined it. Then yeah, from what I've heard, the European director's cut much better of Legend.
Thanks.
Little Tommy Cruise, man child. Anyway, so nerd hats. How many nerd hats this watch would you give The Last Unicorn?
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'm gonna say 3.5. It's like above average. It's not a great film, but it's a good film. Definitely above average. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. So I'm gonna say 3.5.
Okay. Well, I was afraid to go first because honestly, I'm thinking 4 stars, and I already know that's too high, but for some reason, that's what I want to give it.
That's okay, man.
You can't give stars. You can only give hats.
This is subjective at the end of the day. So if you want to give it 4 stars.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Sorry, hats. 4 nerd hats. Did I say stars?
Yeah, no, Will did. Then you encouraged his bad behavior.
I said stars.
So yeah, 3.5 nerd hats out of 5 for me. So 4 for Will, huh?
I have a question. Are there any?
Yeah.
Are there any films that you've seen that are 5 nerd hats?
Ooh. I came close to giving Avatar: The Way of Water. I think I gave it a 4.75. I don't think I've ever given anything 5. Like, so if you had to see a movie that's like that's the perfect movie, like I think on rewatch,
I take it back. I would 3.5.
Okay. On rewatch, I might not give Avatar quite that high. Like the initial experience in the theater, because it's a theater movie. It was just like, this is so epic.
The first one or the second one?
But I want to say like one movie that I would also give. I might give The Secret Life of Walter Mitty 5 because it's
not a nerd movie.
No, but it's basically a perfect movie.
That's like saying, you know what?
It's like
you know what? Skittles are so much better than pickles. Those aren't the same category.
Yeah,
it's a fantasy movie.
Those aren't
it's
the
got
same
some fantasy
things.
in it.
Those aren't even.
But yeah, in the course of our podcast, the closest I've come to 5 stars was Avatar: Way of Water.
What about
I'm trying to remember
Lord of the Rings?
We haven't done Lord of the Rings yet.
I'm just okay.
We haven't covered that yet.
You haven't done Walter Mitty either.
That's true. We have not. But
you guys aren't following.
I would give that. I would give
like
that.
This.
That's one of the few I might give 5 stars.
It's a good movie. It's so good.
It's really good. Yeah. It hits on so many levels.
We're gonna do that. Let's watch Little House on the Prairie.
I didn't say we were going to cover it.
No.
We don't have to. What do you mean no? Little House on the Prairie is delicious.
No.
You don't know that? You don't know?
Half pint. Yeah, no, we're not covering that.
Well, yeah, it's pretty good. I didn't enjoy it as a kid when my parents didn't have cable and there was nothing on, but Mandy makes me watch it.
The Waltons.
It's not that bad.
Did she make you watch the Waltons?
Not as much as Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think I enjoyed it more or less. But yeah, my mom, we definitely watched that with my mom growing up, and then the Waltons also.
I just enjoyed hating Nellie.
Those were her.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed hating her. It was like wow, and her mother. Yuck! It was just so
Hattie.
much fun.
Nettie?
Yeah.
Hattie? The Hattie?
I just know her as mother.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yep.
And then Charles,
the lady that runs
Charles punches someone.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
Almanzo.
As he should have. No, he didn't. Sadly,
he did punch Almanzo.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he needed.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Almanzo punched that kid that was making moves on Laura. Like, yeah, the kid that she was teaching, who was like the same age as her, basically, but she was teaching him for some reason. He's like making moves, like, "Hey, show me how flexible the rib cage is. Like,
Oh my
can you
goodness!
show me?"
Oh, that was a spicy
And
episode.
Almanzo comes in and like
Oh
punches the
boy,
kid.
that's what you
who's
do.
Not really a kid.
Everyone just punch the students. That's fine. That's
Oh
fine.
yeah, he got chewed out by Laura for that. That's one of the few. Yeah, we watched a lot of Little House growing up. Yeah.
So I'm going to give Little House on the Prairie 5 nerd hats. Continue. Continue.
Well, the reason I reduced my score from 4 to 3.5 nerd hats was because when I compared it to better films, I was like, you know what? No, Last Unicorn can't be a 4. What did we give Godzilla -1?
I think I gave that a 4.
Guys, these are
Definitely
too high.
3.75.
These
I
ratings
have to go
are
back
too
and look.
high. Too high.
No, it was really good. It was really good, but I think either a 4 or right below a 4, maybe 3.75. But yeah.
Now, I'd say that Godzilla -1 was some, well, maybe not slightly, but it was definitely better than Last Unicorn.
Very different. Very different things.
You just compared two very different
Very
things.
different
Yeah.
things.
Very different.
I mean, the animation was obviously better than Last Unicorn.
Yeah.
But being that Godzilla -1 did not have animation, but what I'm trying to say is that the plot of of Godzilla -1 was more moving for me personally.
Yeah, I agree as well. I definitely was gripped more by the characters in that film and cared more about what happened to them. Last Unicorn was more of like, this is enjoyable fantasy journey. But yeah, I did not really get emotionally gripped by any of the characters.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit by the Last Unicorn, but definitely not to the extent of Godzilla. Like, not. Yeah, maybe some of that is that there's no kids in this movie. That was definitely an element of Godzilla that grabbed me. It was like they were taking care of a kid. It's like a kid in duress. I mean, that just grabs your heartstrings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, that was, I'd say, two very different types of films. So I don't know that they can be adequately compared. But yeah. So anyway, we're running up on our time here. So Last Unicorn. So Will and I both recommend it. Good film, not necessarily great film. You know, I wouldn't call it a great animated film, but it is a very solid animated film. We both enjoyed it. 3.5 nerd hats. Yeah, and we would recommend it.
I don't
to
know.
you,
I'm
Laura.
uncomfortable by this whole
I think you'd like it. It's definitely worth one watch. I
Okay.
would say.
Okay. For the experience, I'll give it a try.
Yeah, it made me want to watch some other 80s animation and go watch the Black Cauldron again. Yeah. Well, we don't know what we're covering next. We haven't decided that
It's
yet.
a surprise.
But 2 weeks, well, technically 2 weeks from yesterday, because we're releasing a day late. But that will be, let's see, the 28th. Something like, the first Wednesday in March. Anyway. So the first Wednesday in March will be our next episode release. And that one's my selection. So I gotta figure out what we're gonna cover. So stay tuned for that. You'll find out. And thanks for joining us. Hit us up on all the social medias. Let us know what you thought of this episode. And if you've seen The Last Unicorn, let us know what your take is on it and how many nerd hats you would give it. So until next time, dear nerds.
Sayonara.
Hold on to your butts.
Live long and prosper. Nerds, thank you again for joining us for this week's episode. While you're waiting for the next one to release, we would love to hear from you. Have you seen The Last Unicorn? If so, what did you think about it? You can leave a comment underneath our episode on Spotify. You can also hit us up on Instagram. Our handle there is @NerdHatPod. You can DM us or you can comment on the post for this week. Let us know what you think of the film. You can also let us know whether you agree or disagree with our take on it. We're also on Facebook. If you want to find us there, we are still under our old moniker, The Irreverent Nerds. You can find us there. You'll see all our newer posts on there as well. Name change is eventually going to happen there, don't worry. The name has changed on YouTube. We are now Nerd Hat Entertainment. You can find old video episodes, Instagram reels, and the like there on our channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe when you find us there. And of course, we would love it if you do the same wherever you listen to our podcast. Spotify, Apple, Google, Stitcher, you name it. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, all those things. We would greatly appreciate that. And as I said, a review would be welcome. Nerds, until next time, live long and prosper.